The Serengeti. A vast, sun-drenched land of endless plains. It stretches further than the eye can see under a huge African sky. Acacia trees stand like ancient sentinels, dotting the golden landscape. This remarkable place is home to an incredible array of wildlife. It is a world of breathtaking beauty, but also a place where life can be very harsh. Each sunrise paints the sky in glorious hues of orange and deep gold. Life awakens with the dawn, a symphony of sounds from the wild creatures. This is a true kingdom of nature, ancient and untamed, a wonder of our planet. Here, in this magnificent wilderness, lived Baruti. He was a truly splendid lion. His mane, a thick ruff of golden and dark fur, framed his noble face like a king's crown. When Baruti roared, the sound was immense. It could echo for miles across the plains, a testament to his power and his majesty. Yet despite his regal appearance, a deep and profound sadness often clouded his amber eyes. He was a king without a pride, a powerful figure treading a solitary path across the vastness of the Serengeti. He carried an air of quiet sorrow with him wherever he roamed. Baruti had not always been alone. He once had a proud family, a thriving pride that moved as one. He remembered the playful tumbles of the young cubs, their innocent curiosity. He recalled the strong, capable lionesses, their skill in the hunt. But then, a terrible sickness had swept through the land, a cruel affliction that took them from him, one by one. Now, only the whisper of the wind answered his lonely calls. The memory of his profound loss was a heavy weight upon his great heart. This deep loneliness was his constant, unwelcome companion, making the vast Serengeti feel even larger and more desolate. Far from Baruti, a little dog named Django found himself utterly alone. He was not a creature native to the wild savanna. Django was small, with a coat of scruffy, dusty fur, but his eyes were remarkably bright and keenly intelligent. He had become separated from a group of human travelers, perhaps a safari gone astray, and was now lost in this unfamiliar, immense land. He wandered, understandably scared but impressively resilient, searching for scraps of food and any safe shelter he could find. He was just a tiny lost speck in the great sprawling wilderness of Africa, facing an uncertain future. One year, during the height of the long dry season, disaster struck the Serengeti. A tiny spark, perhaps born from a distant lightning strike on the parched earth, ignited the tinder-dry grasses. Very quickly, this small spark grew into a terrifying wildfire. It raged across the plains with incredible speed and ferocity. Great plumes of thick black smoke billowed high into the sky, darkening the sun and choking the air. Bright orange flames leaped and danced with destructive energy, consuming everything in their relentless path. Animals, both big and small, fled in widespread panic from the approaching inferno. The land of vibrant life tragically became a land of fear and devastation. Django, the small, lost dog, soon found himself trapped by the advancing blaze. The fire roared menacingly on one side, an impenetrable wall of intense heat and suffocating smoke. On the other side, a barrier of steep, jagged rocks blocked any hope of escape in that direction. He whimpered pathetically, his small body trembling uncontrollably with sheer terror. He barked, a series of desperate, sharp sounds that were quickly swallowed by the deafening crackle and roar of the blaze. He was so small, so utterly vulnerable against such an overwhelming and destructive force of nature. His hope began to dwindle rapidly as the merciless flames drew ever closer. Baruti the lion was also urgently escaping the fast-moving fire. His powerful, muscular legs carried him swiftly away from the immediate danger towards safer ground. But then, amidst the cacophony of the crackling flames and the panicked cries of other animals, he heard it. A faint, desperate yelp, different from the usual sounds. It was a cry for help. Curiosity, or perhaps a deeply buried flicker of an old instinct to protect the vulnerable, made him pause in his flight. He turned his great maned head, his sharp ears pinpointing the source of the sound, and through the smoke, he saw the small, trapped dog. For a fleeting moment, Baruti hesitated. Lions and dogs were not natural companions in this wild world. They usually kept their distance, or worse. But seeing Django's palpable terror, the sheer desperation in the small creature's eyes, something shifted deep within the lonely lion's heart. With a sudden, unexpected surge of courage that surprised even himself, Baruti moved decisively. He carefully navigated a narrow, perilous path through the burning grass. His massive body instinctively shielded Django from the worst of the searing heat and smoke. He gently nudged Django forward, guiding him towards a small, almost hidden opening, a vital passage to safety, away from the fire's hungry, destructive reach. The devastating fire eventually burned itself out, leaving behind a changed and scarred landscape. A thick layer of gray ash now covered much of the ground, and the air still carried the pungent smell of smoke for many days. Django, thankfully safe but understandably shaken by his ordeal, looked up at the enormous lion who had so bravely saved him. He was still a little scared of Baruti's immense size, but he also felt a strange new sense of profound gratitude. Baruti lay nearby, resting his powerful body, his gaze surprisingly gentle as he watched the small dog. The shared danger had forged an unspoken, powerful connection between them. Slowly, cautiously, an unlikely and rather remarkable friendship began to blossom between the lion and the dog. Baruti, who had endured solitude for so long, found Django's constant presence surprisingly comforting. The little dog's energy was a welcome change. Django, in turn, started to place his trust in the giant lion who had shown him such unexpected kindness. He would stay close to Baruti as they moved his occasional playful barks a new cheerful sound in the lion's usually quiet world. They began to move together across the plains, a truly strange and unique pair, against the vast backdrop of the slowly recovering Serengeti. Baruti no longer felt quite so utterly alone. They soon discovered that their very different attributes made them an incredibly strong and effective team. Django, with his small size and quick, agile movements, could easily spot potential danger from a great distance. His keen, sharp hearing would pick up the faintest rustle in the tall grass, alerting Baruti to approaching threats, or cleverly guiding him to hidden waterholes, now scarce after the fire. Baruti, with his immense strength and undeniably regal presence, offered unwavering protection. No hyena or opportunistic jackal dared to bother the little dog when the mighty lion, his powerful friend, was close by. Baruti would even share his hard-won meals with Django, a behavior almost unheard of for a solitary male lion. This remarkable act of generosity deeply cemented their growing bond of friendship. Django, in return for this kindness and protection, would often find small, overlooked morsels of food that Baruti, with his larger focus, might have missed. They learned to communicate effectively through a series of soft growls from Baruti and happy, enthusiastic yips from Django. They understood each other perfectly, despite their differences. Trust grew steadily between them, becoming as deep and strong as the ancient roots of the resilient acacia trees. One year, following a period of unusual dryness, the vital seasonal rains failed to arrive on time. The great Serengeti, usually so vibrant, grew increasingly dry and dusty. The precious waterholes, lifeblood of the plains, began to shrink and then disappear altogether. Animals, both large and small, grew weak from thirst and debilitating hunger. A heavy shadow of despair fell over the land. Baruti and Django observed the widespread suffering around them. The once lush green plains were now parched, cracked, and barren. Even the mighty elephants, usually so resilient, visibly struggled to find enough water to drink. The two friends knew they had to do something to help their shared home. They decided to combine their unique skills once more, for the good of all. Django, being light and agile, could travel for long distances without needing a great deal of water himself. He bravely volunteered to scout the distant, less accessible parts of the Serengeti, areas where water might still be found. Baruti, with his powerful memory of the land and its many secrets, knew of ancient, hidden springs that might still hold some water, even in such a severe drought. They carefully formed a plan. Django would embark on the search, and Baruti would use his knowledge to guide and protect, and then help access any water found. Their mission was vital for all the creatures of the plains. Django set off bravely, his small paws carrying him tirelessly over the sun-baked, cracked earth. After many long days of searching under the relentless sun, he returned to Baruti. He was visibly exhausted, but also visibly excited, his tail wagging weakly. He had found it. He had discovered a series of small, hidden seeps, tucked away deep within a remote, rocky outcrop. He eagerly led Baruti to the precious spot. Baruti then used his great strength to clear away heavy boulders and dense brush, revealing more water, cool and clear. Together, they then carefully guided the other desperate animals to this precious, life-saving new source of water. Their incredible teamwork had saved many lives. The extraordinary story of Baruti the lion and Django the dog spread like wildfire across the Serengeti. But this time, it was a fire of hope and inspiration. They became revered legends of the savannah. Animals of all kinds would speak in hushed, awed tones of the brave, kind lion and his clever, loyal canine friend. Their remarkable tale was a powerful reminder that even the most different of creatures can become the truest and most steadfast of companions. And it showed everyone that courage, trust, and working together, pooling unique strengths, can overcome any challenge, making the world a much better and safer place for everyone.